I'm Craig Kenneth, a relationship coach and a psychotherapist. Every relationship is different and every breakup is different. Work with me and you'll get professional help on your situation. And if you're in no contact, focused on personal growth, my workbook series, The Knowledge, will help you make changes like you've never made before. Available now at AskCraig.net. Hi there, I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
And I'm Coach Victoria.
And in this video, we're going to be talking to you about why the avoidant needs you.
This is true. You are much needed. Before we get into it, I did want to say that Craig and I are available for coaching sessions. So if we are needed to you, please let us know. You can head to the website and book from there.
Absolutely. You know, when you're going through a breakup, you really feel like if you were dating somebody who's avoidant, they don't care about you, they're independent, they don't care about connections, and you're never going to hear from them again.
You start to feel disposable to someone.
Yeah, it's a terrible feeling. And many of you guys come to the channel having never heard of attachment styles, avoidant attachment style, and then you hear all this information from us and from other coaches that are saying things that can be conflicting and contradictory, and it gets so overwhelming and confusing and scary.
And so we figured we would make a video to clarify some things about the avoidant attachment style, but also talk about why avoidants do need connection and why you, whether you're anxious, whether you're secure, even if you're avoidant, why you are needed in a relationship, why you are important. I know sometimes we can forget, sometimes we get overshadowed by someone's attachment style. They minimize relationships, making us feel like they weren't as important as they actually were. So that's what we wanted to talk about today.
Yeah.
So the avoidant attachment style, I want to be clear that it's not a diagnosis, right? So it's not something like a personality disorder. This is an attachment style. It's the way that we relate to others. It's the blueprint for how we bond. And so every person is in need of human connection. That's the way that we're wired. That's what makes us feel safe, including the avoidant attachment style. Some people get really upset when they feel discarded by someone who's avoidant. They'll start saying, oh, you're narcissistic. Oh, you lack human empathy.
Yep.
And while there are extremes to everything, right, the avoidant attachment style, we're not saying that it's a personality disorder.
No.
Now, somebody with a personality disorder could also have an avoidant attachment style,
Yeah.
but somebody who's avoidant doesn't necessarily mean that they're narcissistic or lack empathy.
Yes.
So I just want to be clear with that.
You may see some similar traits, but they would not be as extreme as somebody who has a full-blown personality disorder. You know, they're going to be the most extreme things that you're looking at, right?
So you might see sometimes those with more avoidant attachment styles, they'll desire connection. They might say things like, I want to get married, I want to have a family, I would love to, have kids and bond with them and connect with them and do fun things with them. Those things can be true. Avoidants still have the desire to connect.
Yeah, they do. But one of the things that they really struggle with is their hyper-independence. And if you think about it, it makes sense. If you grow up in a home where you can't count on people, you can't trust them, they're not consistent, they're not emotionally attuned, they're not attentive, you kind of get to a point where you're like, I can't count on anyone. I can't count on anyone to get anything done but myself. And so they really believe that they have to take care of everything. And sometimes if you're like with a dismissive avoidant, who's more of an extreme avoidant, they're going to be like, anything that you do that is not to their exact liking, it's like, see, this is why I should just do it myself. This is why I just do things myself. I can't count on you. Even though you made an effort and you attempted to do things the way that they wanted, because it's not exact, they're like, I should have just done this myself from the beginning. So,
And sometimes you'll see in a family system, they might be an eldest sibling where maybe they're taking care of their younger siblings and their parents maybe aren't around for one reason or another. And so they end up taking on all that responsibility and sometimes even start to lose respect for the parents because they realize that they are the ones stepping up.
yeah.
So it can be an experience for a kid that really impacts the rest of their relationships. And avoidants, they need a safe and secure connection, okay? So I'm not saying that you need to put up with anything just because the avoidant needs you, but I'm saying in a case of a relationship, you are important. And so they need consistency. They need someone who doesn't give up on them. Doesn't mean that you have to put up with things. Once again, I want to make that clear because I don't want this video to be avoidants need you, therefore you should tolerate whatever neglect they put you through.
No.
But I mean to say avoidants need you. They need that emotional support. They need to be able to receive and learn how to receive.
Essentially, they're trying to get a connection that they've never had before. And so it's very uncomfortable for them. And you know, it's tough because as an adult, you have your own needs and you don't need to tolerate somebody's neglect or, you know, mistreatment or whatever it may be. But yeah, they're struggling to learn a connection, a healthy connection, which they probably have never had.
Right. And they need emotional support. So their hyper independence might delude you into thinking that they don't need anyone and they're better off alone and they can do it on their own. And while they might be able to for a bit, while that does probably feel good for them to have control of their own life or whatever else they're doing, they do need emotional support. You know, they might not show it in the ways that others do, but they do.
Absolutely. You know, in a sense, they need a model for what a secure, healthy attachment relationship is going to be. You know, they very likely did not see anything like that in their home growing up or experience any kind of connection like that with their mom and dad or their caretakers, whoever they were. And so now it's like, you know, they're in a room in the dark and you're saying, you have to get to the other side of this room with all these pitfalls. Don't worry about the snakes and the trap door on the floor and the spikes coming from the sides of the walls.
Yeah.
It's like, you know what I mean? It's like, but you've never navigated that before, but good luck to you.
Yeah, they have no idea.
Yeah.
They have no idea. And something I hear often from people going through a breakup is they will ask, well, can an avoidant person miss someone? Can they miss their ex?
Oh, yeah.
They absolutely do. They need that support. They need that ability to connect with somebody emotionally on some level, even if it's difficult. What Craig was saying is they don't quite know how. They don't quite have the language. They don't have any examples of that, at least ones that they can really integrate into their body and feels right for them. So that's what the challenge is.
Yeah.
They also are in need of somebody who respects their space. You know, imagine a lot of avoidance for much of their life, their space was not respected. That's why they always have that need to push people away, to distance, because they are used to people either invading their boundaries or completely neglecting them. And so they're very accustomed to their space. And so they are in need of somebody who's able to give them that healthy balance. When you ask me for space, I can give it to you.
It's not easy.
It's not easy, but it's revolutionary for someone who's avoidant.
Yeah.
That really is what creates that feeling of safety in a relationship if you're dating someone who's more avoidant.
And if you're anxious, you have to learn to give that space. You have to learn to be okay with giving somebody space. And it's so difficult for the anxious person to do that.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like your weakness and their weakness. It's like a battle.
Yeah. And
nobody wins.
It's a struggle because they tend to push people away. You know, you'll hear from a lot of avoidants, I don't know why I keep pushing people away. I make friends and I push them away. I have relationships and I sabotage them somehow or another.
Yep.
And it's something that to me is really sad because it's something that's preventable if you're able to work through some of those attachment issues, if you're able to talk through it and be more direct with words.
Yep.
It's hard to love someone who's constantly pushing you away. You know, there's that guilt of, am I making this person feel uncomfortable? But then there's this heaviness of, I don't know what's wrong. Then there's this other side of, I don't want to assume what's wrong. So you feel cornered as a partner dating somebody who's avoidant, and it leaves you with little options. It's hard, and we get it.
Yeah.
We get it.
It is so hard because you just want to connect and feel that connection. And for them, that connection is like, I can't have this connection. I don't need this connection. And ultimately, with space and time, oftentimes they come to the point where they're like, I do need it. But ultimately, you're looking for somebody that's going to act like an adult and work through those issues.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly. And the best thing that you can do if you're dating someone who's avoidant is to try to create that safe environment for them to open up as much as you can.
Good point.
But it is not your responsibility to heal their avoidance. So while you are needed, while they do need an effective role model, while they do need examples of what healthy love looks like, while they do need someone to respect their space, you also have limits. You also have what you are willing to tolerate and what you're not willing to tolerate. And you also have your own rights in the relationship.
Yeah.
So the point of this video really was to remind you that your emotionality, it's not something to be ashamed about. How emotional you are, how connected you are with your emotions, even if you are more anxious, because you really do feel discarded by someone who's more avoidant when you're constantly dealing with that pushback. You start to question your own self-worth. You start to question your own feelings sometimes. You start to think, am I crazy? Am I overly emotional? Am I just making a big deal out of everything? These things are important, right? They matter and they are needed in the right context. And also, if you're able to work on your own attachment style, then you're able to emotionally express a lot more efficiently and effectively.
Absolutely.
So that's our hope.
Finding that balance is not easy, in where you're trying to figure out what is healthy for you to get in a relationship and what is healthy for you to expect from a partner, and their needs, your needs. It's not easy to figure that out. Obviously, the world we live in is very different than it was just a couple hundred years ago. And so people don't need each other in the same way for survival like we did 500 years ago, 1,000 years ago, whatever, because we have homes and we have a lot more health care and stuff like that. So the world is changing, but we do need each other. Our connections are so vital to our lifespan. And, you know, you see these studies about when you are more isolated and alone, that people die younger and they have health issues sooner. So our connections are very important. And learning the skills and the emotional self-control to navigate it can truly change your life. And that's what we are always trying to teach you and educate you, so when your ex reaches out, you know how to do those things better. That's why we have the workbooks and the creative healing course. Or if they don't, you still know how to navigate all of these critical skills and abilities for somebody new, or dating lots of different people.
Right. And we don't want you believing the lie that you are not needed. I know it feels that way. Sometimes our feelings can turn into thoughts that can turn into beliefs. And then we start viewing the world that way. We start interacting with our ex as if we're unimportant and like we don't matter anyways. No, what you have to offer is important. Your ability to connect with emotions and be curious about what is wrong with this person that keeps pushing me away. That's needed. That's good. It's healthy to ask those questions.
Yeah.
So just a friendly reminder and something to motivate you too. Something to get you to understand attachment styles a little bit more, and also to see other people's behavior through their attachment style as not personal.
It's true. Don't take everything so personal.
Yeah.
Great point.
It can be difficult.
All right. So hopefully this one's been helpful to you and makes you feel a little bit better in understanding that people do need each other, even though it feels like they don't, especially when they've just ended a relationship with you. So if you want to get our help personally, you could do that on our website, askcraig.net. I do email coaching and I do Skype. Coach Victoria is also available for Skype coaching.
I'm here whenever you're ready to chat.
Just click on her name on the top of the website to schedule with her. But that's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
And I'm Coach Victoria.
And we will talk with you soon.